Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Nvidia stock. Let's go over what has happened to this stock that is on an absolute euphoric run, absolutely destroying any bears that are left, if there are any left, honestly. And yeah, let's just talk about it, what's happening and what I personally see moving forward. So all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. That link is down below where you get access to all of my intraday thoughts, posts, updates for just $2.99 on Tesla and just the market as a whole sometimes, right? Just general thoughts. But also if you want Nvidia, which I assume you do if you're on this video, $4.99 gives you all of that plus Nvidia daily analysis as well. So yeah, if you're interested, link is down below in the description of the video at the top. It's a YouTube membership. We'd love to have you there. But all that being said, let's jump into it. Nvidia closing a beautiful day of about 4.35%, closing at pretty much $130 exactly, which is obviously pretty damn good. Now, let's talk about this. What does this mean moving forward? And just what can we expect with Nvidia, right? Is this ever going to stop, right? Or is this stock just going to all-time highs at this point straight? Well, that's the main question I'm sure everyone's wondering. Let's talk about it. So Nvidia, obviously massive rally, massive run. It really couldn't get better than this, right? It really could not get better than this. You could not ask for a better euphoric rally like this. Let's talk about the bullish aspects, right? The bullish aspects are, well, it's pretty obvious, right? Again, like I said many times for the past week, no bearish sign whatsoever, right? The only chance that the bears had was this hanging man candle over here back when we're still at 118. Clearly that didn't play out. The bears definitely fumbled that one. And well, Nvidia is just completely rallying even further. Now, we talked about how 127-ish was a potential area of topping out, right? That was a potential area for Nvidia to top out, to finally get some massive levels of resistance. And it did stop there for quite some time today. And then it, pretty much the second half of the day, it said, yeah, never mind. And it just rallied right past that up to 130. Now, this is obviously very bullish, right? This is obviously very bullish. We ended up breaking out of this, both trend lines really that could have contained Nvidia. It clearly could not have. It's just too strong. Now, what can we expect moving forward? Well, it's pretty simple. You pretty much look at the next two pivot levels, right? The next pivot level will be closer to 135, followed by all-time highs sitting at about 140-ish, right? Those are the next two target levels above us. But the question, of course, is, well, do we just rally straight there or do we get a pullback before we rally? Nobody knows, unfortunately. I wish I had the answer, but nobody knows. But the way I look at it is this, right? Let's go to the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart for many stocks, including Nvidia, is extremely overbought. It's extremely euphoric. It's very overbought. Pretty much the top of the band. It's been hovering the top of the band for quite some time. So obviously it can continue to do so, but doesn't change the fact that it's very euphoric. MACD is very euphoric. Like it's just pretty much in above the clouds at this point. It's extremely high. RSI is extremely overbought rather. So, you know, something to note, right? So it's been overbought. It can continue to be overbought. But again, the thing with these kind of indicators is that it doesn't mean, oh, it's overbought. That means it has to crash now. No. Usually with these indicators, if you see overbought and you see some bearish divergences, which we're slightly seeing right now on Nvidia, and you're seeing it overbought for this amount of time, it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess the best example I can use is almost like if you're playing roulette almost and, you know, it lands on black like 10 times in a row and you're like, okay, well, surely it has to land on red next, right? It's kind of that where it's like, yes and no, right? Same idea here. Well, again, just because it's overbought, it doesn't mean it has to fall back down. It doesn't mean it has to correct, but the longer it stays overbought, probably the higher chance is going to getting closer to that correction, right? That's kind of the idea, right? Same thing with the stochastic on the 1 hour chart. It's just very euphoric. But again, I want to make it clear. The daily chart still shows no signs of a bearish, of bearish signs really at all. So, you know, make sure you understand that, right? But again, the 1 hour is getting very euphoric. Now, let's say we do get some kind of, you know, correction on Nvidia, right? Where can we go? Well, again, usually when you get these kind of situations, which, you know, it can happen right around here, right around this pretty much, you know, 131 to 132 range, right? This could be a level to correct that. I would expect that something like this, right? Come up maybe a little bit higher, but then ultimately make our way back down to about this kind of 127-ish range. Most likely, at least in theory, turn that into a support. And if we can do that and turn this trend line and 127 into a support once again, because we broke past it, right? Naturally, old resistance turns into new support. That'll be very bullish. And I think we'll probably make our way back up to at the very least 135, if not really just get all the way to all-time highs. That is also a possibility, right? So you want to be looking at these levels now, right? Again, just draw these levels out for yourself. And it's pretty simple. Main target for the next level, 132, 135, 140. Support levels, the first and foremost, really 127-ish to about 126, which is this resistance, now support, and of course this trend line, which will also now act, in theory at least, as a support. Those are the main levels to look for, right? If those levels hold, congratulations, then it has turned it into a support, and you most likely make our way back up even higher to the next area of resistance, which would be the next leg up. So again, maybe 135, for instance, as the next one. It's level by level. It's really that simple, right? That's just the way you want to look at it, right? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it moving forward. So you want to kind of, understand that, right? You can have a million indicators, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, horizontal levels are probably one of the best ways to look at things. And at the moment, that's just how it looks. 128, 127-ish support, currently 132-ish resistance. Below by the way, if we lose 127-ish, 128, 127-ish, next level below that would be about 122, followed by 120, followed by 117. Those are the levels to the downside. But again, the reason this is important to hold, in my opinion, 128, 127 is because if Nvidia comes back down to retest these levels, but unsuccessfully, and by unsuccessfully, I mean it actually goes back below these levels and below the green trend line, this would be a false breakout. False breakouts usually snapshot to the opposite direction pretty darn quickly. So again, if Nvidia comes back down below this green trend line, again, maybe below like 127, 126, roughly, something like that, that would be bearish. That would be a false breakout, and it most likely will come back down pretty aggressively all the way down to at least 117, if not maybe even all the way down to about this kind of 110-ish level to 107, right? But again, it's a massive if. There's nothing saying that it will. There's nothing showing that it will. But just kind of a heads up, so you're prepared if it maybe happens really quickly, you can kind of be aware of that situation, in the back of your mind. Again, as of right now, there's nothing bearish about Nvidia. Literally the only bearish thing is just it's really overbought on the 1 hour chart. That's pretty much the only bearish thing, but that's not something you should be pretty much, at least in my opinion, putting bearish bets on. It is strictly because of that. Ideally, you want to wait for some bearish formation on the daily chart, a bearish candle, something like that, or like at a major resistance, right? Which easily could have been today. Clearly it wasn't, which is why you want to wait also for daily closures, because if you did it midday, well, you just got stopped out most likely, right? Because it went up even higher. That's why you always want to wait for those daily candle closures. They're very important to really enter more risky bets, especially if you're betting against the trend, because the trend at the moment for Nvidia and really the market as a whole is clearly up. That it is what it is. That is just simply the trend. But all in all, that's the main things I'm looking at for Nvidia, right? In terms of options flow, Nvidia at the moment, very bullish. Highest bullish flow by far in the market, 53 million confirmed bullish flow. No bears in sight for the most part. I think bears are just, I don't know if they even exist, which could be another potential, case for the bears to really come back out of hiding. All the fake bears maybe are, getting kind of, destroyed. And the people that are patient, the people that really wait for their shot, the bears that are very patient, maybe this is the moment for them to really start pouncing, or at least thinking of pouncing, right? Could be. You never know. Watch out, because I don't think there's anyone bearish on Nvidia right now. It's just too strong, man, and I don't blame them. But again, when everyone's bullish, well, maybe that's the time to start turning a little bit bearish. So we'll see. But again, those are just theoreticals. Now, again, levels are the main thing. Watch for those levels I mentioned, right? Upside 132, 135, 140. Downside, ideally holding 127-ish. Below that though, 122, 120, 117, and below 117 it gets a bit uglier, and we could probably head our way down all the way to 110. But all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and as per usual, I will see you for the next one. Peace.